Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Ladies, understand something. The top end of a woman's weight is 145 pounds. Okay. My mother's 5'9", and she was 145 pounds until she was 50. That's the top end of your weight, because there should be about a 40-pound difference between you and men.
Basically, if the guy is rich, what ends up happening is the lawyer contacts the person and be like, hey, you know, your name gonna be all in the paper, so you might as well just settle out of court.
I can recognize talent. Even if I don't agree with the politics, a lot of the politics that was underlying in the show and some of the sentiments he was trying to share, I recognize artistry when an artist is present.
Yes, this is the definition of absolutely cooked. We'll never go back and take a look at her bad decision and take accountability for any of that.
Because there is powerful people in the industry, somehow there is a different law that applies to them. And I agree with that assessment.
What up, YouTube? What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? Hey, peace and blessings, man, to everybody. Happy hump day. Shout out to my writers, my poets, all of y'all, all that good stuff. You already know the energy. I give my flowers out to people that I enjoy your work, your creations, your heart and soul that you pour into your projects. Salutes to you. Thank you for being here. I'm excited for tonight, man. I like these. I do enjoy these thoroughly. I believe the last top 5 list I did was on it was either suspense or action. Yeah. And I didn't realize how many movies were out there until we actually did a rundown. It was like 150 or more. Some of them I didn't even agree with being in the category that it was. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to bring Sydney up here because I know she got some, and I got a whole 30. I got a list here, 35. I'm going to read them all. We're going to kind of disqualify or qualify them. Her list might be different than mine. Your list might be different than mine. But I'm curious. What's on yours? What's your favorite genre? Well, do me a solid. Show some love to Sydney. Like, repost, let the people know we are live. I want to hear from you. What's your thoughts? Do you agree with this lineup? Let's talk about it. Let me bring this up here real quick. And let's go.
Hello. Sydney. How are you doing?
It's about to be Thursday. I'm great.
It is Thursday. Wednesday.
Although my coworker is taking 3 days off next week, so that should be fun because I might have to pick up there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's nice that we had a 4-day weekend this past week. So it was basically a 4-day week, a 4-day weekend, and then a 4-day week. So it feels like you got an extra holiday.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Hey, look, this is the first stream to date that I've done an actual list with somebody. So, and it's on one of our favorite subjects. I know you probably are more into this than me, even though I am obsessed with disaster films. I do have my favorite, and I'm sure you have a few that you enjoyed. So, how do you want to do this? Do you want to talk about your favorites first, or do you want to run through this list that I have first? And because, like I said, there's some here that I didn't even know, or maybe I don't even agree with being in the same category, but it could go either way.
We
It's
could go
all
through the
subjective.
list.
All right. So this is a top 35 for anyone who's tuning in. I'm going in the order in which they have it. So
Is this
you
yours
don't.
or is this like an internet one?
No, this is an internet one.
Okay.
This is an internet one. Now they have some on here that might be on my list, but I'm just going to go through them and like we'll go from there. So number 1 on the list, they have. Let me see. What is this? Number 1 is. Where's the name? Where is the name? That's weird. Hold on. Oh, 2012. 2012 is number 1 on the list. Now,
It's literally only because who's it? Vin Diesel. I feel like that's the only reason.
Is Vin Diesel in 2012?
Or no. Sorry. No. The Rock. Isn't it?
Is The Rock? I don't know. No.
Who's the person?
No. Matter of fact, I got you covered. He's actually on this list though. The Rock, he is on this list. This is John.
That was the earthquake movie. That was okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my guy from Room 408 or something like that. John Cusack.
I was combining the two movies for whatever reason. Okay. I love 2012. I remember watching that, but it does lose points for not being super realistic. For example, there's a scene of a wave washing over the Himalayas. The Himalayas is on the tallest point on Earth, and that's why Mount Everest is as tall as it is, because basically the Earth bulges at that location, and so it's literally pushed up into the sky. And so that's why the whole mountain range is so high. So if it had washed over basically up to Mount Everest, there would be something else wrong. That would not be survivable at all. Nothing on land would survive that. Because even as a human, maybe small groups of people eating fish and stuff could survive that. But if you're covering the planet with that much water, it takes months to recede floods that are a couple feet high. Imagine how long it would take to recede waters that are 29,000 feet high, or like 28,000 feet high. That's highly that's not possible. I mean, the events are loosely based on fact. I believe it's based on a switch in the polarity of the Earth, because the Earth has an iron core, and I'm trying to verify to make sure. The Earth has an iron core, and because iron is magnetic, I'm not very good with physics, but just from what I remember, they separate because of the spin of the Earth. So there's negative and positive. And every so often, the polarity of the Earth flips. That's why, like, north, south, east, west, that's why we have that. That tells you the polarity, or it's using the polarity, I should say. And if that switches, which it does every like 400,000 years or something like that. It could be even longer periods of time. But it can cause earthquakes and disruptions, and through earthquakes and disruptions of the plates, obviously you're going to get tsunamis, you're going to get flooding, you're going to get changes in elevation of different areas as things like fall into the ocean or rise, or things can move around. But the process also isn't in the span of a week like they show. It does go through a process that takes hundreds or thousands of years. I'm not entirely sure. But it does take much longer for that whole process to happen. And so it wouldn't be as violent and crazy as it was in 2012. If I remember correctly, he had to like drive along the Earth as it was like breaking up into pieces. And these were pieces that were like the size of cliffs. And wasn't he like a limo driver? If I remember correctly, yeah. I'm like, that type of stuff is super unrealistic. If the Earth is just like rising into the air as a result of tectonic forces, there's no way you're gonna be driving. Like, people in the earthquake that would cause that type of breakage would be something that would throw the car like off into the distance. My mom was in the Loma Prieta earthquake, and that was a 7.1, and the cars in the parking lot were bouncing up and down on the pavement, and the pavement itself was rippling like it was an ocean or a body of water. So there's no way you're going to be driving on that as that's happening, let alone have precision to like swoop around curves and stuff to get away with somebody like hanging outside the limo. I think that was a scene in there. I, as a lover of disasters, found it enthralling. The movie was so exciting and I loved it, but science-wise, it was not quite accurate.
So before we even go any further in this, are you because we might be judging this on two different things. Are you judging it based on the legitimacy of the actual depiction, or are you going off of the overall? Because I think what you're talking about is, well, it was entertaining, but it was like, come on, man, none of this could actually happen like this. I can't say you wrong, because I mean, my man was too perfect. Nobody drives that good, you know what I'm saying? And the way that the earth was sinking, the bridges were collapsing, and he managed to squeeze underneath the collapsing building right before it. Like, come on. But see,
But
I know.
it does play into it, because there are movies that represent the risks and hazards of, like, that makes them actually confront them, because that movie seemed to allow them to skirt past them and observe them. It was almost like a tour of the disaster that was happening. Versus, I mean, you're in a limo anyways.
And if you
but like other ones are more like experiences where you're with them, feeling the impacts as they're happening. That's why usually parts of the group usually get picked off by different events. But there's a lot more accurate and representations, and I think when you're a movie, you really do have to be accurate to be good, because not 2012 is good, and it's a very well thought out representation of what it was showing, but it was inflated to the point that it was a bit too theatrical, where it made it a little more like, I don't know, when it's more theatrical, it feels more predictable, where you're like, oh, of course they're gonna get out of this. Whereas the with more representative examples, it feels a little bit more like nail biting. Like, oh my god, are they actually going to survive this?
A big ass.
Yeah.
I had something weird happen when you was talking, and then it just kind of reset itself. But I'm not even mad at that. To be honest with you, that one is on my list.
As a favorite?
What I will, yeah. But what I will say is, because I always wondered, and I never put a lot of real thought into it, but I'm not sure how I feel about the based on a true story type of events versus those, because but the real just really happened. I've seen a few of them, and some of them are boring. Like, I know, like, rest in peace to the people that lost their life, but it's like it takes them damn near 30 minutes for something to happen, and I'm sitting here like, damn, when is something gonna blow up? I want to see some shit blow up, or like give me something. You're talking too much. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not mad at the real life scenarios. There was one that I watched. I can't remember. It was on volcanoes too. That one was pretty decent. But like I said, they kind of just talk a little too much, and I don't know. Just a side though. I'm not saying all of them are like that. Maybe you can point me to a direction where we get some Indiana Jones action going on, but yeah, this one's on my list. I don't have it at number 1, but it's on my list. Now, number 2, this one might be closer to what you're fond of in terms of being a little more serious, and it's theatrical, but it's not as bad as this. Even though, well, let me just say, The Day After Tomorrow came in at number 2.
I love that one.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was gonna I don't remember if I actually said it, but I do love the movie 2012, and for the reason that you said, I love the fact that it's so there's so much there, and I like that they show a bunch of different things. If I remember, isn't there also a tornado in it, and like they somehow show different, maybe not a tornado, but there is a bunch of different disasters all throughout, and I've always liked those just because of the experience of getting to see it happen on TV. But it's still not in my top 5.
2012 had it had eruptions from Yellowstone, I believe it was. And there was, if I'm not mistaken, there was lightning, like real bad radical lightning that was kind of just. Then they had the hailstorms.
Right. Yeah.
I remember one specific scene where it hit somebody in the head as they were running away. I got a dark humor. I kind of laugh at things I shouldn't laugh at. But yeah.
I think it's been a while since I've seen that movie.
The Day After Tomorrow, I like that one a little more than I like 2012.
I like that one as well.
If I'm being picky, so there was a scene, and I don't believe like this will happen. If it hasn't happened in real life, I don't know, where the temperature got so cold that you couldn't step outside of a vehicle, outside of your house or wherever, or automatically you're just gonna turn to ice, and then the tsunami that came in and pretty much washed away everything. The whole city of New York was basically underwater, and then it froze up. But I don't know. I did enjoy that one a little bit more. I was mad at a couple of scenes. The one where they had to walk on the ice in the snow, and it was 3 of them, and then the heavy one fell through the glass, and
yeah,
they had to cut them loose, and then he hit the little dramatic fall. Like, come on, you messed up because you didn't know how to navigate as you were driving, and then you got them stuck. But no, I did like that one. I like that one a little more than 2012. Not really sure. That one's over. That one. What do you remember from it?
I actually recently watched this one again. This one's one of my favorites. It's not my very favorite, but definitely up there. I watched it with my husband so he could see it. It's a representation of what happens when the AMOC collapses, which is what's been talked about in the news a lot lately. It's obviously exaggerated in that it doesn't happen over the span of weeks like it shows in the movie. It does take decades or centuries, depending on the cause of the AMOC collapse. In our case, it would take 150 years-ish, give or take, possibly longer. But it was very accurate, It featured a lot of the hazards. Obviously, they had to all attack the same city with all of these hazards at the same time. So luckily, it wouldn't happen that way. It would be a lot more graduated. So if it did happen, the entire eastern seaboard would experience a variety of the different things, but not all of them at the same time in 1 week. But it was very accurate to what can happen. I also enjoyed the people, like the characters. I enjoyed the character development they did with all of the people that were in the groups. I thought that they made a lot of likable but realistic characters, and they showcase human behavior in how the people were reacting as well, which I also appreciate. I like when disaster movies showcase the variety of human responses to disasters and times of stress, because a lot of movies don't get it right. There's a lot of different ways to show stress, and there is a lot of ways that people will react to it, and it can be, some people can be volatile and not even know that they will be. Like most people these days don't really get pushed to an extreme stress point. So when you are, it can showcase like things that you didn't even think about yourself, and it can be surprising to people. There's like a whole psychology behind it.
I'm glad you said that. The acting was by far some of the best. They didn't overdo it.
Mm-hmm.
The chemistry was there. Actually, the lady that co-starred, I watched her, and before I knew about Shameless, this was one of the first times I watched her. The other time that I watched her was in Poseidon.
Oh,
I don't know if that. Yeah, I don't know if that's on here. Poseidon would have scared the shit out of me. If I was in that situation, I would shit myself. That one was like, you are underwater and you don't have the lung capacity to technically reach to the surface. You got but so much time to get to the top of this thing before I don't know if it's on here or not though, but yeah, that one's on my list. I don't know, it just made me think of that, but I did thoroughly enjoy The Day After Tomorrow. Dennis Quaid did a fantastic job. I can't. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that whole cast was magnificent.
Yeah.
The next one, I don't know. Maybe you've seen this before. It came out in 2012. The Impossible. You ever heard of The Impossible?
I think, is it a storm movie? Let's see.
Based on true events, in December 2004, a family enjoys their winter vacation in Thailand.
I have not actually watched this yet. I think I've seen an advertisement for this before, but I haven't actually watched it. I will definitely have to do that.
Yeah, you and me both. And I didn't like this. It's 2012, so to be honest with you, like I said, it's 35 here. I didn't really realize that there were that many, so chalk that one up to watch. Number 4. This is the one that you were talking about earlier. And I had to think about it. Did I watch this? Yeah, I did see it before, but I don't like I watched it like one time, so I don't remember
Mhm.
everything. San Andreas.
Ah, yes. That one is the one with the rock.
Right.
Yeah. I I confuse the two because both of them involve the earth being like thrown into giant pieces. I
Right,
think that's
right.
why I always mix the two or combine the two. Um, oh, also before I go past that, 2012, I remember it also irritated me that he had the typical MO of divorced dad. I'm like, they always make the natural disaster main character like a divorced dad with his two kids and then his wife that then he has to go rescue. And so I was annoyed that they chose that same shtick. So that was another reason why it was a little bit downgraded to me, even though it was very nice.
It's some really irritating about how they try to make it look like the men are hella weak in these movies,
And
and like
smart men will be divorced.
right, right. That always irritated me. Like this chick is 97 pounds. She is not beating the shit out of no former NBA player that's at 6'7". Stop that. But nah, I feel you on that one. I wasn't even thinking about that. My man, what was it, Corvette or something? They got swallowed up in the. The limo. He used the limo to knock his car off into the side. He was like, "Oh, my bad."
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think
Um,
San.
San Andreas was um I liked it, but again with my desire for realism, it was very exaggerated. Um it was the combination of like super exaggeration and theatrics that was it definitely downgraded the movie quite a bit for me. I did enjoy watching it. I always enjoy watching earthquake movies, and I get excited when there's new ones because I like seeing how they depict the earthquakes, comparing um, the different movies and how they're portrayed. I do enjoy like the psychology and stuff, like watching how the people are interacting and responding and stuff like that. Um, and just seeing it from like different perspectives and stuff like that. And um, I have a strong inner critic, so I always like to. I'm always criticizing movies and stuff in my head. So I enjoy watching it for the sake of watching it. But I definitely wouldn't say it's in my top 5.
I can't even remember it, so it must not have been that good for me. I
The
know some.
the entire fault line of California ruptured, and then California or part of California basically fell into the ocean, I guess.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I guess. How was The Rock's acting in there on a scale of 1 to 10?
I don't really remember too much about like the people and stuff like that. I just have like I haven't seen that movie probably since it came out. I don't even remember when that was, like 2000 something, 11, 12, I don't know. Uh, but I guess like 8, 7, 8. I don't remember.
Yeah, don't even make up a number. If you don't remember, you don't remember because I don't remember. So I
I
might
mean, that
go back.
tells you how good it was, not even memorable.
Yeah, I know. Let's contest something real quick because we just went through 4. Now, I feel some type of way about the placement of number 5. So, do you agree that this should be at number 5 or should it move up? They got Titanic at number 5. Should it stay there?
Decent. It's a good depiction of the Titanic, especially for the time that it was made, with ignoring all of the fangirl hype behind the whole thing. It was a good movie. It was well made. It was very accurate in regards to what happened. Personally, while I do love watching them, I've never counted them as disaster movies, even though I know they are disasters. Just in my head, I always was like, natural disasters. But it's hard for me to say if it should stay, because I think culturally, yes, I can see how that would be in the top 5. Personally, it would not be in my top 5.
Well, I'm just talking about this list here. My list and this list is not like, they got like 2 of them on here that I'm like, yeah, those are mine. But as far as how they got it ordered on here, should it stay at 5? Is 2012 and The Day After Tomorrow and the other 2 over this? I mean, when you look at everything that you just said, based on what you said about the first 4, and you were really adamant about number 1, 2012, should that stay at number 1 over Titanic? Because Titanic, the boat is still in the water. It's still there. But 2012 is nothing but CGI and,
I think, let's see. I would put it at 3. The Titanic at 3, and then if we were just doing those 5, and then 2012 would be at the 5.
Fair enough.
And I probably, what was the first one again?
The first one was 2012.
Oh, the first one, okay. And then the second one was Day After Tomorrow.
Yep.
I'd probably move that one to the first.
Okay. I ain't mad at that. I would probably put it at number 2, but number 3, I'm not mad at either.
Mm-hmm.
Where we at? So this one was pretty good. I don't know if you consider this a disaster movie, but technically it could be, because it's more or less speaking on like disease,
Mm-hmm.
illnesses, Contagion.
I don't know if I saw that one. I've never been. I will watch them occasionally when I get in my disaster kick, if I like run out of movies and want to see something else. But I don't think I've seen this one. When did it come out?
2011.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I've never really watched. I kind of want to see this one. I didn't. I feel like I've heard the name, but for some reason I've never actually seen it.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not on my list, but It's worth a watch. I haven't seen it in a while, but if I did a review on it, I would say you can watch this at least one time. I wouldn't say it's like replayable, but you wouldn't sit there, turn it on, and then walk away from it. I put it like that. Number 7, never heard of it, never watched it. It came out in 2020. Greenland.
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 Okay. Just making sure.
There's some people pronounce certain words a certain way. I don't know if it's Greenland or Greenland, but that's number 7. I've never seen it before.
I haven't seen that one either, but I would definitely be interested in watching it because it's exactly up my alley. It's depicting climate change, except a little bit sped up, it looks like. Basically, it's depicting what would happen if we had runaway global warming, which we kind of are on track for. So it could be a good movie to watch to see what we're in for.
I'm gonna have to note that one. I don't know about number 8. 2016, Deepwater Horizon.
I can't remember if I saw it or not, but I do know what it's about. I don't. Let me see if I saw it. I really can't remember because it feels like a movie that I would have watched with my husband, but I don't really have any memories of it if I did. But it is a very interesting premise. It's based on a true story. So it would be a to watch.
What about number 9 coming in at Pompeii?
That's the new one.
2014.
Right. I think I vaguely remember watching this. I've only watched it like once. It wasn't my cup of tea at the time, but I was only a teenager. So I don't remember enough to comment on it.
That's fine. I didn't see it either. Number 10, I haven't seen this one before. Into the Storm.
Ooh, I have seen that one. Yes, I remember that one. I like this one. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, if I remember correctly, they kind of poke fun at the original Twister movie in 1999, I think it was. The Twister, the iconic movie. It did have the same problems that 2012 had, though, where they were a bit more exaggerated, instead of so tornadoes typically, you can have multiple tornadoes tracking from one storm, but they literally had tornado. That is not how tornadoes work. Like maybe you can get like 2, but because of the way the winds work, you can't. It would make each other collapse because you can't. You have to pull in air from somewhere, and if they're all pulling in air, it doesn't work. So, I definitely would not put it in my top 5 either. So I think it's good that it's not on the top 5 list, but it is still an interesting movie if you like tornadoes.
You don't make me feel too comfortable about watching that one.
It's fun to watch if you think tornadoes are cool because there's lots of tornadoes in it. But if you're in it for the science, it's not as good as other ones. It's not bad, but it's like there are some worse tornado movies that I have seen. But it's fun. Like it's fun if you like disaster movies for the thrill and whatnot. But yeah, it's just not scientific enough for me. But I also am a super nerd, so I don't count.
All right. Now I feel a little better. Now I feel a little bit better. You know, I'm about action. I need to see stuff happening. I want to see.
You'll like that. Then. You'll like it then.
Yeah. World War Z, 2013.
I do not like zombies in the sense that because they're unrealistic. To me, I'm like, that is not a threat. That is like boogeyman in the closet, something like that. I'm like, that is not realistic. And so I have no interest in watching movies about it. I have because my husband, but that is not my cup of tea. He does not like zombies either. He's afraid of zombies. I just don't like them. And then movies about them involve too much gore. Like I don't mind injuries, but all the other stuff that they do, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Please tell me you don't spoil the movie while y'all watching it. I try not. I know because I know people who are super analytical doing a TV show or something, and while you watching, they'll be like, "Man, you know, that's impossible. You know, you can't really do that." And I'm like, "Come on, I understand that, but like, this is my guilty pleasure. Can we just enjoy the fakeness of it, please?"
Well, it's funny because my husband, especially if it's like a video, if I point out a mistake or like, oh, that's not true or whatever, he'll immediately turn it off, and he'll be like, all right, we can't watch it. And so so I basically learned not to say anything because if I want to watch something with him, I can't point anything out that's wrong. Otherwise, he'll just like, all right, fine, we're not watching it then. Like, but I wanted to finish it anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. I won't even tell anybody about something that I watched until after I watched it. I'll wait until I've watched it and then I'll say something to you. So then
hate to watch movies with Carol then because she literally will sit there talking about, oh, I know he did it. Look, there he goes with that knife. Oh, yep. Oh, just wait until you see what we're like, oh my God, please stop talking.
Hey, some commentary can be fun.
She talks the whole time though. And she gives it all away. Like she'll be like, don't go in the house because you already know that they're gonna have a knife in there. We're like, oh my God, please let us just watch it.
I get that too though. It's like, come on, man. Is this I know it's a movie, but you still got to make it real. I want to see a movie where the person is just like how we are. Like you're just super
Mhm.
analytical. You know, like I'm about to use some foul language here, but I'm just saying I want to see a movie where the ghost or the monster or the fucking villain has to really work for his victim because
Mhm.
in reality we are too fucking smart to fall for some of the goofy shit that be. So no, I want to see where you really have to work for this. You're not about to
Mhm.
just get somebody to walk into an open door or walk in somebody's property that they don't own and then they just slip on air, and that don't work like that. But I
Yeah.
digress.
I mean, hey, that resonates with me because that's basically the premise of one of the books I've been writing. It's the perspective of a young girl, young, like 20s, 30s, going through the process of grieving after basically, to her knowledge, everyone dies. Like, she doesn't know exactly what happened, but there's a disaster that affects the country and people disappear. And so it's her process of mourning as life progresses and she tries to figure out what to do.
That sounds interesting. Yeah, yeah. I'm let me know how that concludes. I'm
Hmm.
curious. I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
Um, number 12. I All right. Number 12 is, I believe, like a Netflix show, and I've seen some of it, and it wasn't really up to my speed. Don't look up.
Oh, yes. That was a good one. Um, it was a satire, a comedy, but it was very, very good. Very well made. Um, I really enjoyed that one.
I might have to go back and watch. I'd never finished any of it. I stopped at like episode 3 or something. So I really didn't give it a fair chance based off of me knowing Jennifer Lawrence's work and seeing her intermingling with um my man from Superbad. Like it was people that were from different universes outside of what I normally would see them in, and it kind of just threw
Mhm.
me off.
Yeah.
But if it's still on Netflix, I'm gonna spin back on that one. Just to be fair. 13, The Wave.
Wave. I I don't remember if I've seen the whole movie, but I know I've seen portions of it. Um, I also know a lot about the historical context of it. Um, from what I remember, it was very well made. And I think I did see the movie because I remember the who the characters were. Um, I enjoyed the perspective. I If I remember correctly, it was mostly from the perspective of the little kid, or at least the kids. Um, and it did very accurately represent the tragedy that happened.
Okay. I haven't seen it, based on what I just read though, it is something that I would watch. So to the people that are here, maybe you've seen it. There's at least a good 7 of these, if I'm counting this right, that I haven't watched myself. This one right here is on my list. And this brother, he's just an all around amazing actor. Armageddon. Armageddon.
Oh, I think I remember that.
I'm
I
mad.
Like that one.
I'm mad they got it at 14 though. I'm disappointed in that one. But Armageddon was probably one of those films that made me interested in the outer space.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I liked it, and it was very well made, especially for the time period. Um, it's not one of my favorites, just because, and it's more so because my favorites are more storms, earthquakes, stuff like that. And so I've always had slightly less interest in like space technology type stuff. And like I like space, but when I research space, it's usually stuff about the planets and the stars and whatnot, rather than like spaceships and stuff. Anyway, I have seen it maybe once or twice, but it was a while ago. I did enjoy the movie, but I know that it's not feasible what they did. You can't really just blow up an asteroid like that without repercussions. But other than that, I know it was a really well-made movie at the time.
I tell you what, it was more legit than 2012 was. Like, but that whole asteroid thing, nah. I have a hard time believing they landed on the moon. So, but no. Number 15, The Happening.
Happening.
Yeah, I hated this movie. I absolutely hated this movie. It was, I don't have no words. It was like the air was just killing people. It was like bringing the trees alive and all this weird. I don't even know how to explain, because I just never understood.
Never seen it. Not sure I want to.
It was like the something in the air would cause people to kill themselves, and nobody knew why or what. Like, it was just no. If I'm giving you my personal review on this one, do not watch this. But that's just me. I didn't understand that one. It shouldn't be next to Armageddon. Moonfall. Holly Berry, Patrick Wilson, John Bradley.
I see that nobody likes storm movies. A bunch of the movies that I really like have not shown up on this list yet.
I think I'm at my fifth one right here. I think this is my number 5. No. All right, so I would have to take this one and replace one. So Dante Peak is on my list.
Yep.
Hands down. I think we spoke about that one before too. Yeah.
What was the movie called again? Moon Hall? No, the one that you're on the list.
The one before this?
Yeah.
Moonfall.
Moonfall. Okay.
So
what the heck? They get hit by a planet?
Oh, see, they doing me dirty. So they got 2 of mine at 17 and 18. And Volcano came in at 18.
That one's a good one. I like Volcano.
All right. So would you keep this one at 18 or move it up in the 5 that's on here? Not your personal, but on here.
I would definitely move it. Let's see. Yeah, I'd move it up there. I mean, first of all, it's a classic, and it's very well made.
I don't know.
It's also quite enjoyable, but I don't know if I could put it in the top 5, but I definitely put it like up in the list.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, this is just preference. Everybody's list is prone to be different.
Yeah.
So let me just give you mine. Mine is Volcano, Dante's Peak, Day After Tomorrow, 2012. And I'm kind of leaning towards Armageddon. It depends. Like there might be one that I'm missing. I don't put Titanic on here because that movie is long as shit, and like I enjoyed it, but it was like I'm one of them. Come on, man! I like build-ups, but we need to get there. Matter of fact, I'm gonna remove Armageddon and I'm gonna put Poseidon in there. All right, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So that's my 5 officially. Number 19 is Leave the World Behind. That is good.
I don't think I've seen that one either. What's that one?
It's on
Space?
Netflix. No, it's like a situation where, hold on, I'm gonna read it out. When an NYC family takes a vacation to Long Island, they're interrupted by a father and daughter bearing. Watch that one again. Yeah, because I can't remember. I don't think this was more. This wasn't really about the elements. This was a little different, but it was good. It was good. I will say that it's not on my list, but it was good. Oh, I knew I was going to forget one, and we just talked about this. The original Twister, and they have it at number 20.
I would definitely put it up higher in the list.
This has to be a yeah. I was listening. I ain't want to cut your work.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it definitely should be higher on the list. I mean, first of all, for what they had to work with at the time the movie was made, the special effects were really awesome. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, they actually built a wind tunnel just to film some of the scenes in, to get an accurate representation of what it would be like. I also appreciate the amount of, like, I've watched a documentary on how they made the movie, so this is why I know so much about it. But they put a lot of scientific effort into making sure that everything was accurate, and they used a lot of real events in the film. So it was very reflective of real life. I also thought the plot was really well made, and there's a lot of likable characters.
They did do a good job with the characters. I can't remember none of their names, but I was very impressed with what they did with that. And that was what, 96? Yeah, that was 96.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they make movies the same way now that they did then.
Yeah.
I honestly think the movies back then were better written.
Mm-hmm. They wrote more for the
Yeah,
story than the special effects.
right, right. I remember this one. Uh, someone help me out. You or anybody that's watching. The Bird. Birds came out in
Oh,
1963.
yes. Classic.
I do remember this, but it's like I was what, 9, 12, or something, somewhere around that when I don't really remember what was the general idea for this.
I don't remember if they had a disease or not, or if they just like went crazy or something. I forgot what they said caused it in the movie. But basically the birds had lost their minds, and they would angrily attack people. They were like pecking people to death and like attacking them with their claws and stuff. And it was all types of birds, I guess. So not just like little birds, but the big birds and stuff like that. Uh, it is actually based on a true story. It's
Imagine,
just not that severe. They were like starlings, and they would swoop down and pluck people's hair as they would walk by, and so they based it off of that story.
imagine if it was just all eagles and big ass birds, like the biggest birds in the world. Remember, we just spoke about that not too long ago. The ones with the 3-inch claws and they 3 feet tall. And imagine if that's what was out here doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That would, yeah. I bet you wouldn't laugh at that shit. 22. The fifth wave, is this supposed to be another version of the other one? I'm not understanding that. But
The
oh,
heck? I
adapted
have
from
never
the
seen this before. What is this? Oh no, that's why I haven't seen it. I'm not a fan of alien movies. I just personally, I don't believe in aliens. Like I believe that there can be life on other planets, but I don't believe that life on
Take Me to Your
like,
Leader.
yeah, I don't believe in all that. And then also if if they come all the way over here, like they have to be so far advanced that we should have already detected them by now. It's just hard for me to believe that they exist in the capacity that they could literally take over our whole planet.
So do you believe in the conspiracy stories and theories and videos of aliens walking the earth? And because I've seen them myself. I mean, like,
I mean, if there are, I have to be one of them.
I
I mean, I was adopted, so I mean, I'm kidding. I know who my mom is, so, but, um, but yeah, I've never been a fan of alien movies because to me, I just don't like wasting my energy and thoughts on something that I don't think could exist. But I know other people disagree. My mom is one of them.
oh I love alien movies, The Predator, all that shit. Yep, yep. The only thing that I don't mess around with anymore is the spiritual shit. Yeah, because that stuff is real, and I ain't. Yeah, I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, I stopped watching that stuff.
I did like War of the Worlds, though. I will say that.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. Number 23, we got Geostorm. Geostorm.
I remember seeing something about it, but I don't remember if I actually saw it. I might have seen it. I thought it was like from the perspective of like somebody's up in space, and then somebody's down on Earth, and they're like trying to stop it. I guess. I don't remember if I saw this or not. It looks good though. It kind of looks like Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's another one that has to go on the list. Number 24, Outbreak. I didn't see that one. I seen clips of it. I never.
I think I have seen this one, but it's been a bit. I probably saw it when I was a teenager. But I don't remember it enough to comment on it. But it was a very typical 90s movie with the typical like organ riffs and stuff like that. So yeah.
I know this is the conspiracy theory in me, and it's going to sound controversial to some people. But you ever think about they have come out with a lot of movies where outbreaks have happened, a lot of them, and then we had one. So I don't know if the little curiosity in me is like, what are you trying to say? Yeah. I'm gonna read these last few all. And then I want to hear your top 5. The Midnight Sky came in at 25. The Wandering Earth came in at 26. White Noise came in at 27. The core came in at 28. I'm glad this is on here. Melancholia 29. How It Ends at 30. I Am Legend 31. Poseidon at 32. Y'all awesome. Deep Impact at 33. The Perfect Storm 34. And at 35, Disaster Movie. That's your 35.
Let's see. Disaster Movie is in the 2008 Disaster Movie.
Yep.
Yikes. That would definitely not be on my list of 35.
I don't even know how this is on here.
I feel like it was like AI generated or something based on some arbitrary stat about them, like viewer count or something. But I have not heard of most of those except for the one second to last that you said. Oh, The Perfect Storm. I have seen that one. I would be interested in watching a couple of those. I was looking them up as you were reading them. White Noise looked kind of interesting.
White Noise is good.
It's a comedy, but it talks about a family going through an environmental disaster. So I'm curious to see that. For my top 5, Dante's Peak would definitely be 1 or 2. Day After Tomorrow would be 3. There's another movie that we haven't talked about. It's called 13 Minutes, and it's a tornado movie. It's about it's based on an actual I'm blanking on the name of the town right now, but it was a real event where the tornado basically cut through the middle of the entire town in 13 minutes, because it took 13 minutes to eat through the town. It's a really good movie, really good depiction of what tornadoes do, and the characters were really likable. I like the way they did it, where they showed the family members as representations of people's actual stories. So I thought that one was really, really good. Then the 1997 earthquake movie. It's a lot of people probably would not put that on their list because it's historical, so it's not as up to date anymore. But I've always loved their representation of the science behind earthquake prediction. So that would be probably like 5 on my list, and then I need 4 and a 1. What was that other movie? Nightmare Choice. What am I forgetting? I think I said Day After Tomorrow was 3. Super Volcano, I would put it 4. I love that movie. Even though it's not something we'll experience in our lifetime, it's still a really cool movie to watch, and it kind of humbles you on how lucky we are to not have that happening to us right now. The science is also very sound. And then I guess Dante's Peak would be my favorite. So I need one more for my top 5. I know I'm forgetting something.
Not mad at that list. A couple of them I do need to look at. I believe I saw a super volcano. I'm going to have to spin back on that one. Shout out to everybody that pulled up. Who do you have on your top 5? Top 5 disaster movies. I'm curious. I asked this the other day, but like I'm pretty sure there's still more that we haven't even covered here. But I definitely have to do another one at some point. I think the next top 5 I do is going to be probably. It's either going to be on Halloween or something involving action or something like that. But it's been a while since I watched anything that's been in a theater.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've been in a theater. Definitely before kids.
So are you stuck at your 4, or did you come up with a 5?
I'd probably put Poseidon there because I've seen that movie many times and I've always salmon. Okay, I'll make salmon. So I've actually nope. What is this one called? There's a wildfire movie that I really love. That was what I was forgetting. I think it takes place in Australia. Yeah. It came out in 2020. Yeah, 2020, I think. No. I know there's another one called Wildfire, but I found the movie poster, but I can't find like the information about it. But basically, there's a wildfire movie that I really like. It takes place in Australia, and I really like that one because it accurately depicts what it's like when the town has to suddenly flee as a result of a fire getting out of control. Fires are my favorite disaster type, like that and earthquakes to look into. So that one's a good one. I will find the name and then tell you next time. Is that it? I think it's just called Fire.
All right. I
think I found it.
I'll look into that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look for it too, just to see if I can look at it.
Okay. Well, this was a fun show, man. I ain't mad at your list. I think we a few of them we both pretty much said. I'm not necessarily happy with the order placement on some of those. Some of them should not have been where they were. Be bodacious. I appreciate you for tapping in. These lists that they do on the internet, they be so like, what's the word? Inaccurate. You'll have them, but I don't know. I appreciate you for this tapping in when you did. You know, we are about to get up off of here for the night, but me and Jason will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're oh, look at that.
Thank you.
He's
showing you his book about being a big brother.
I salute that. I respect it.
You want to say hi?
Hi.
You want to wave?
I like the book.
Thank you for sharing. Do you want to read it when I'm done?
Yes.
All right. Go downstairs and I'll meet you down. I'll meet you down there. Okay?
At Be Bodacious. Before we get either before or just in the comment section, your top 5. I don't know if you're a disaster movie type of a person, but if you do have a list, let me know what your top 5 disaster movie list is. I would love to hear it. I mean, you travel a lot, so I know you have some stories. But outside that, I don't think I ever had a chance to meet. B Bodacious is pretty dope, man. She's real chill. Um, been knowing her for a few years now. It's good to see that you still, doing your thing on these YouTube streets, because it gets real like oversaturated up here. But I'm glad you could come out and hang with us tonight, man. And Sydney, your critical skills and your analyzing of certain movies made this much more enjoyable.
Thank you.
For 2012 to be on your list, and you express how much it was like, they like I thought that was probably my favorite portion of the show, because you just kept going back to 2012, and I'm like, all right, I understand.
Yeah, some of those scenes are so iconic, especially the driving scenes where he's literally driving as the earth is like dropping in front of him and stuff. And every time I'd watch, I'd just be like, oh my God, that is not how that works.
Yeah. We're going see you're into specific stuff, so this the next one I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to say that one for like a weekend or something, but we gotta do this again, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But shout out to you, shout out to everybody that's watching. Before we go, do me a solid, you know the drill.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Thursday is around the corner. Be blessed, drive safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.